My name is Maurice Velasquez,
And I'm John Shirt,
and this is Winning in the Workplace.
powered by Team Real World.
We're asked on a regular basis, how can we help our managers become better leaders? Then we talk to managers, and they're like, guys, what can we do to get ahead? And when we talk to staff members, is how can we make things happen? Everything else we cover regarding leadership, excellence, collaboration, all boils down to the basics of what we're going to cover today, and that is this: for the managers to get organized, not only themselves, but their teams and across the management line. When managers get organized, the executives are able to interact better. The staff gets better connected. We're going to cover the 6 foundational tools. We'll cover them in much more detail in our future modules, but here's the tool belt. I guess you could say it's not the toolbox. The toolbox is the one you walk around with and you put it down and you go get the tools that you need. Then you have other tools that are in the truck, but these here is the tool belt. These are the tools that you carry on with you all the time and you access and use. And managers, if you can help your teams in your departments master this and help them get organized, then you'll be developing team members that are becoming leaders. Executives, heads up. If your managers become really good at this, watch how much the structure and the format of what we're going to cover today helps your managers not only become better managers, but they become better leaders. Why? Because they're getting extremely organized as well as getting everybody else organized. You can tell when people are not organized if the executives have to ask this certain questions of managers, or if the managers have to ask their people these certain questions. Here are the questions. Ready? Hey guys, where are we with? Okay, or hey guys, what's the status of? Hey John, I thought last week we said that. Now see, this is one of the most popular questions when you go into meetings. Hey guys, I thought last week we said, and it's like, no, that's not what we said. Well, no, yes, we did. We said, no, we didn't. I wasn't assigned that, and then things get lost. These are questions you just never want to have to ask, and that you don't want others to have to ask of you. Another question is, hey, guys, what's the latest on? Okay. Another one is, what happened to the thing we said that we were going to do about the dress code? Or what do we say about, hey, where are we with our salary adjustments? So if we do this correctly, we should be able to work from a game plan. That game plan should be collected from a lot of good feedback from everybody. Therefore, everybody puts their buy-in into it. Everyone knows when we're meeting. Everyone knows when the assignments are tasks or delegated, all right? Everyone knows there's now a level of accountability, and everyone knows how to start ideas or conversations about issues, problems, improvements, or fixes that we need to do right. In other words, there's a structure to the conversation, all right? So how do we do this? There's 3 basic concepts. There should be assessing, they should be formulating a game plan, and then they should be executing it. Yeah, Maurice, but how? How do you do that? Break it down some more. Let's break it down some more. Here are the 6 tools that we teach and coach every manager to be excellent at leadership. First thing to do is we teach managers how to have a game plan, how to always have with themselves a written game plan, 1-page game plan that covers 90 days of the major projects that they're going to do and that they're working on with their teams, that they regularly update, they regularly publish, they bring it to meetings, and therefore everyone knows what it is they're working on so they can unite the people. Secondly, every manager needs to have a set rhythm of meetings. It's basically a schedule of meetings. When do I meet with marketing? When do I meet with this department? When do I meet with my boss? When do I meet with my department managers? You don't leave it up to as needed. We move away from last minute conversations in the hallway or last minute, hey, do you have 5 minutes? We need to rush this. Instead, we begin to use a style of leadership which is more structured, which allows for everybody to know we have certain places where we go and have effective, productive, collaborative, and results-driven meetings. All right, which gets into the next 2 tools, which are these. Number 3 is the meeting notes. What happened at the meetings has to be very well collected at the meeting notes, and meeting agendas. If we do a good job with notes, then we set the agenda for the next meeting, and we go from meeting to meeting, pushing substantial items that drive the business forward, as opposed to sitting around going, so, does anybody have anything? Anybody have anything? You got anything? Now, once you go into meetings and you come out of meetings, what happens to all those tasks? What happens to all those delegated items? Well, they need to be collected in what we call a docket of tasks. And we'll see in a minute how you build the docket, or primarily where you build the docket, okay? If this allows, the docket of tasks allows each department to know what we're all being assigned to, so we can be accountable and responsible, and the managers don't have to sit there and say, hey, so what are you working on today? So, hey, what are you working on? Finally, the sixth tool is the issue of called an issue generator or an idea generator. At these meetings, how do we bring ideas? How do we bring proposals? How do we bring problems up? How do we bring controversial items? Well, this tool right here is a phenomenal tool that allows everyone to know that there's a safe way and a safe, respected way by which ideas and issues aren't going to be killed too quickly. So what's a game plan? A game plan is basically a 90-day game plan that you do by first meeting with your executives, you meet with other department managers, you meet with your staff, and you assess. So we basically build a 90-day game plan for my department based on the feedback and the interaction. We get priorities from everybody, we establish our own priorities, and we put together our game plan, and that game plan is the one that we're going to present to the executives as to what we want to do, and then of course, they'll give us their ideas, but the goal here is to align all the department game plans. Then we assess the feedback as we gather it from everybody, and we create this one-page game plan. This is my game plan for operations. Here, each blue area is a major project, okay? And then each one of these white lines underneath is the major milestone. This game plan allows you to have an executive summary of what I'm supposed to be doing. And notice on this side, it's a visual representation of the start date and end date of each one of these projects. The rhythm of meetings is where you set your key standing meetings. One meeting needs to be with your supervisor up, another meeting needs to be with your direct reports down, and then your third meeting is with your peers and department managers going sideways, all right? You put it on your schedule, you publish your schedule to your teams, okay? And you got to be disciplined about attending. And then you make sure that you make these meetings effective. This is an example of what a rhythm of meetings looks like. Put together your rhythm of meetings of the most important meetings and begin to create the discipline of making decisions at these meetings. How? We got to make them effective. So let's move on to the next tool. So the notes of the meeting are incredibly important, okay? You need to assign a note taker at each meeting, all right? The notes should be no more than 1 page. The notes would go out to everybody no later than 2 hours after each meeting, all right? And you keep the same note taker on a regular basis so that they can become consistent at creating meetings. The meeting notes are real simple. There's really 3 sections that you ought to be doing in your meetings, and your sections are these. Number 1 is what items were assigned. So for example, you notice over here are the items assigned and who was it assigned to, all right? So this section is about items assigned. The second section is what are those items that we decided, okay? And the third is what are those items that we discussed. If you notice, from the template here, everything is covered in 1-sentence descriptions, no commentary, keep it in 1 page. You can download these documents from our website. Your fourth tool is the meeting agendas. So you take the notes that you had from last meeting, and now you can build your agenda for the next meeting, all right? So your agenda first should go out it should go out 2 days before your next meeting. You need to set a date and a time to then ask people to put items on the agenda. If your meeting is on Wednesday, you set the agenda out on Monday, noon, you ask everybody to please send you their items by the end of the day Friday, so that you can update the agenda and get it out to everybody 2 days before the set of the meeting. You want to set that date for everybody to adhere to. Then you print a copy for each attendee, and then you work down the agenda, all right? You want to go down the list of the items that we covered last week, what was assigned to everybody. 25 to 35% of the first part of the meeting, you should dedicate it to going through the old tasks of the items that we covered last week and make sure that everybody brought their items and determine at that point what to do with that item if it's important, which it should have been important. What do we do with it if somebody didn't bring their due task? task. What do we do? Do we ask them to finish it tomorrow? Do we give another week? But yet it's a level of accountability, and watch what happens whenever you start holding folks accountable. They start showing up at the meeting much more ready. All right, so you work down the agenda, you get to new business, you create more dialogue about the projects that should be happening, and you make a very good, effective meeting within the time allotted. All right, here's an example of an agenda. The top items of an agenda are always announcements, reports, items assigned, the current game plan projects that you guys are working on, and then new business. All right, here's what you work through, and if you keep it organized and focused, it's amazing what you can do in a 45, 60-minute meeting if you structure it very well like this. Then, what happens with all the tasks? We mentioned the docket of tasks. The docket of tasks comes from the meeting notes, the assigned task. Who does what? You got to catch those, you put them on a shared docket, okay? Everyone then works from their own docket, and everyone's responsible to meeting their deadlines on the docket. And we'll review dockets at meetings. Is everyone working their dockets based on the due dates? And you should use a common tool for your dockets. For example, you could use Google Docs. We're using Priority Matrix. It's a really powerful tool. Other tools out there are Basecamp or Trello. These are extremely good tools. Get everybody in your department, preferably everybody in your company, to use the same tool. Here's an example of a docket of tasks, right? But this looks differently based on which program you're using. This is an example of if you use Google Docs. All right, and then finally, let's move over to the final one, which is the issue generator, okay? Your issue generator is to help you flush out ideas. It teaches everyone how to use questions better, okay? Don't use it to push people away. Like if somebody comes to you with an idea, you don't just say, well, here, fill this out, give it to me later. No, you use it as a way to encourage idea generators, okay? To generate ideas and issues, all right? And then you take these ideas and then you add them to the new business section of the agendas in the appropriate meetings. Okay, if it's an urgent matter, you do it now. If it can wait till the next meeting, you organize things to the meetings. Here's what an idea generator, an issue generator looks like. The types of questions that the idea generator asks are things like, what's the problem that needs to be resolved? Okay, what is it that you want to see happen? Why is this important to you? The following steps show that you want to see is what? What are the steps that you want to see regarding this? And then the other questions are listed here. It's a phenomenal, really good tool. We use it on a regular basis, and we teach employees all across all department lines to at least answer these 4 questions of the issues and the problems they want to see resolved. We take those on a regular basis, we gather those up, and it's incredible the amount of good feedback that we get from everybody. All right, then we put all this together and we remind ourselves, in order for us to become great leaders, great managers, we have to always have a 90-day game plan that we update on a regular basis, on a monthly basis. Okay, we have our schedule of rhythm meetings where we collaborate with everybody and make sure we're on the same page and that we're executing the items on the game plans. And we make those meetings effective with good meeting notes and meeting agendas. We take those tasks and we put them in a docket, and we're all committed to being responsible for our docket items, and we use the idea generator to push ideas, create issues, and improve our departments and the overall culture and productivity of the company. These are the tools that can help every manager become extremely organized, become a better leader, and incredibly effective when they teach their people how to use these tasks, and they don't have to be the ones to organize them as much as watching the staff begin to organize themselves. It's powerful, it works, you can do it, and together we can win in the workplace. Thank you for joining me. Again, Maurice Velasquez with Winning in the Workplace, powered by Team Real World. See you next week.